So this area is the dinette. The dinette has storage underneath the cushions. That's kind of deep storage. You have to take the cushions off, of course, to get to it. So that's great for things that you don't get to quite as often. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see an empty bin there where we have a felt basket. And that's a great place to store things that you need to get to quite often. On the right-hand side, you'll see a full extension drawer here. That's a fantastic landing place for shoes. And there's a silicone mat in there just in case your shoes are muddy. And then up top, pull on the leather strap. And there's a great little compartment here that holds things like keys, wallets, cell phone if you want to put it in there. There's a similar storage compartment on the other side underneath that arm that you can use for things like cards or whatever you see fit. In the center of the dinette, you'll see a bamboo table with some walnut breadboards, and that is floating on a Lagoon table mount. And that Lagoon table mount allows this entire table to swivel, so you can push it out of the way, giving you all kinds of room to then have a seat, and you can pull it back to you. You can also turn the table sideways, or if you're maybe working from in here, you can set it up as a desk like this, so you can set your laptop there or any other things that you might be working with. And then if you have people sitting around eating, you can set it back up like that. The swivel function is very important for when the stove is running, so you can make plenty of room to get in to this part of the seating area. It's actually a really easy thing to do. As long as you swivel it out of the way, works great. That table then becomes the platform that sits on these ledger strips. You can see around here the little walnut ledger strips. The table lands on those ledger strips. The Lagoon table mount just pulls off and actually stores underneath the table on its little bracket. It's got a little dovetail channel so you can store the arms underneath the table. The table then drops down, and I will show you how that works now. Okay, I'm going to set up the table so that this entire area can become a bed. The bed's about 48 inches wide, so about the size of a regular full-size bed, but it's much longer than a full-size bed. And to put this on, you just loosen up one of the levers in here, and then you can actually lift this top off like so, and fold this arm around like that. And this arm also has a lever on it. Just pull it down, slide it off. And like I said before, it actually can store underneath, just like that. And then this entire table sits on the ledger strips. There are 4 locating pins built into the ledger strips, so you know you've got it setting down correctly when it falls on all 4 of those pins, like it just did there. And then each one of the back cushions fits in this area, and you stack up all 4, and now you have a full and flat and very comfortable mattress that can sleep 2 people very comfortably. You can also pull this cushion forward and put the 4 back cushions in that space, and that can help keep the 4 cushions from wanting to separate at night while you're sleeping. It just takes another moment to set it up that way. Okay, continuing on, we have at the front door, you'll see 3 light switches. This one turns off the 6 overhead lights. I just turned them off, turn them back on, and then if I hold my finger there, you can hopefully see that the lights dim. and then you hold it again and they will go back to fully bright or anywhere in between. Just take your finger off when you want to stop and get the light, the setting that you want it to be. Then one of these switches is for the over door light on the outside, and the other one is for what is called the scare light, which is the kind of bright light to the left of the door, actually to the right of the door if you're outside, that illuminates your exterior area pretty well. And these, as you can see, the switches themselves are illuminated, so you don't forget when you're inside that they're on, and you remember at night to turn them off. And then here you have the interior door latch, and then the lock. If you turn this lock, that will actually lock the door from the inside. This is the latch that lets you out, and then you can slam the door shut. There's a screen on the inside, and that is actually separated with this little lever here. And then the door and the screen are separate, so you can just have the screen door, and then this little flap slides here to keep out all of the bugs, but also acts as a finger pull, so you can open and close the screen door. And then those two click back together like that and become one again. And if you open the door all the way, on the outside, there's a small latch on the outside to keep the door open when the weather is lovely. You can have the door open and it won't blow closed in the wind. Especially it won't blow open in the wind, which could potentially damage the side of the Airstream if it blew open hard. So it's good practice to lock that every time you want to keep the door open for any length of time. Okay, turning around, going to the other side, you see the 4 kilowatt dwarf wood stove. It's roaring right along there. It is currently making it quite warm in here. It's 40 degrees outside, and it's in the mid 70s inside right now. Once this heats up, you'll see on top we have a little fan that's powered by the heat of the stove. You don't have to plug that in, and it does a pretty nice job of circulating the air around. If it's really cold outside, you might want another fan to really blow heat towards the back. That works really well. And then on the chimney stack, you'll see a little chimney thermometer here that when things are going well, it should read somewhere between 300 and 400 degrees. And below the wood stove, you'll see you've got a wood storage area that's quite deep. You can see the front row of wood there. You can put a stack of wood behind that is just as tall, and that is enough wood to last for about certainly a night and then well into the next day. And I usually will store a little bit of extra wood outside too. And then on the right hand side, there's a little cubby for other fire accessories and kindling. On the left hand side, more kindling storage or fire accessories there as well. Also on the left of the freshwater tank is the water pump, so that when you're not hooked up to city water, you're actually using the small pump in the fresh water tank. And that pump is turned on right here at that switch. This switch, when you turn it on, lights up blue, lovely. And I don't want to turn it on right now because I've got the water shut off for winter. But that pump does a great job of providing enough water pressure for showers and dishes, and it's actually quite powerful. Underneath that, you'll see a regular 120 volt outlet. We'll talk about those in just a minute. And then below that, there's a dual USB outlet. And you can see where the chimney exits the Airstream and the new ceiling LED lights. This chimney gets quite hot. This portion here where it exits just gets warm to the touch. It's insulated, as it has to be when you install a wood stove in an RV like this. You'll also see on the side of the cabinetry these heat shields, which keep the surrounding area cool. You have to have a 1-inch air gap behind each one of these heat shields, and it does an amazing job of keeping everything nice and cool. This stove has been running for a good long while. As you can see, I can just hold my hand here. It is warm to the touch, and behind here is not even warm. It's actually cold, you know, kind of cold to the touch there. So below that, you'll see the hearth is also clad in metal. It's aluminum, and it's slightly bowed out just to catch any stray coals that might accidentally fall out when you're loading wood into the fire. Up here we have the original tambour door storage area. I have installed a, I don't know if you can see this, but in here there's 12-volt power. So you can charge a phone or power a fan up here. And then on the other side, same, I have all the manuals for all of the new components that are in here up there. And also you'll see all of the wiring for a stereo system if you decide you would like to do that. All of the original wiring is still in the walls, but I did not want to use that. I just left them in there just in case somebody did. Looking down at the floor, you can see the Cali vinyl flooring. This is a cork-lined flooring. It is non-toxic, and it's produced in a way that is not harmful to the environment. It's also not going to off-gas in a small space like this. That's a really important consideration. It's an incredibly durable floor. It's also very lightweight. Everything in Argo was made to be as light as it could possibly be. That's something to look out for if you're shopping for remodeled Airstreams. Even if they look beautiful, you do have to make sure that you keep the weight down as low as you possibly can to make towing this easier and to not overwhelm the chassis, axles, or suspension. So everything that is in Argo is made to be ultralight, including the cabinetry. And then when you are ready to set off, you'll see that each one of these handles is also the latch that keeps all of the doors and drawers closed. So you just go through and push all of those, and now those panels are actually locked in place. Push them again and it turns back into a handle.